So, students, welcome once more. Today, we will be dealing with our Unit 1 of Microbiology, Paper 1. Lecture 1 is the Fundamentals of Microbiology. Myself, Dr. Shama Afroz-Beg, HOD Microbiology from Swami Shri Swarupanand Saraswati Mahavidyalaya, Kutko Bhilai. Now, once we come to know that what is microbiology, but before that, I'll be letting you know how this world originated and what was the first life which was created. When Earth originated, it was a very hot sphere. It then slowly cooled down, and first the microcosms were formed. Microcosms, that means it was some chemicals, some mixtures, some proteins, some materials which developed inside a layer and formed some kind of cytoplasm and some other proteins which were concentrated in the middle, which we can say as the cell. But this was not the living organism. Then there are two theories which tells us about this development of life, that is from inorganic material, that is the chemicals, to the organic form, that is the formation of the proteins, enzymes, etc. That is known as the abiogenesis, which can be said as that the first life form. It can be known from the very known experiment, that is which was given by the Urey and Miller, Harold Clayton Urey and Stanley Lloyd Miller. They gave us an experiment which proves that abiogenesis is a theory from where the first life form generated, and the second theory is the organic to life form theory, that is the biogenesis, which was given by the Louis Pasteur, that the living organisms originate from the pre-existing organisms. For this experiment, the Urey experiment, what is that? They have taken a experiment has been set up in which this funnel they have kept the methane gas, the ammonia gas, the water, and the hydrogen, and by giving us electric spark through a condenser, they prepared the amino acids which are the basics for the life, or the conversion of the inorganic to the organic form. So through this method, the origination of the life forms existed. But we are not going in that detail that how the microorganisms are being formed. We are going to the microorganisms and their groups, which groups are told to be the microorganisms. Now, students, what is microbiology? What is the microbiology? Microbiology is the study of microorganisms. What are these microorganisms? These microorganisms are very tiny, very minute, simple life forms which are not visible through our naked eyes. The terminology microbiology is a Greek word, mixture of a Greek word, micros, which means small, bios means living things, and logi, that means to study. So the microbiology is the study of small, tiny, little organisms which cannot be seen by the naked eye. In this microorganisms family, or the major groups of the microorganisms includes the bacteria. You very well know about the bacteria, but you does not know about the archaea. There is a minute difference between the bacteria and the archaea in their cell structure. Second one is the archaea, and the third one is the algae. In algae, some green chlorophyll pigments are present, which allows them to synthesize the food, and they are the maximum producers of the universe. Then the fungi, mycelium like organisms, protozoa, which are single celled, and mostly they are being known for causing various diseases, and the viruses. Last and least one is the viruses. Viruses are on the borderline of the living and non-living organisms, and as you know, nowadays you are very well being known with the viruses, that is the coronavirus, which we will be discussing later on. and this field, that is the microorganism field, and is concerned with its structure, its function, and the classification of such microorganisms. Before telling about you the each and every organisms, we should know about the types of cells which are present. There are two types of cells. These are the prokaryotic cells and the eukaryotic cells. First of all, I will tell you about the prokaryotic cells. What are prokaryotes? Pro means previous, karyon means nucleus. यानी न्यूक्लियस के पहले के सेल्स जो कहलाते हैं वो प्रोकैरियोट्स कहलाते हैं. यू मीन्स विथ, कैरियन मीन्स न्यूक्लियस, यानी विथ न्यूक्लियस वाले जो सेल्स हैं वो क्या कहलाते हैं? यूकैरियोट्स. ऐसा नहीं है कि जेनेटिक मटेरियल नहीं होता, जेनेटिक मटेरियल दोनों में होता है, प्रोकैरियोट्स में भी होता है एंड यूकैरियोट्स में भी होता है. बट सिंपली अगर आप अंडरस्टैंड करना चाहेंगे तो प्रोकैरियोट्स में कोई न्यूक्लियस नहीं होता, जेनेटिक मटेरियल इज जस्ट एम्बेडेड इन द साइटोप्लाज्म, whereas in eukaryotes there is a well defined nucleus which consists of a nuclear membrane and a pore. Here is the diagram of the prokaryote and the eukaryote, and some few differences are there, that no membrane bound nucleus. First and foremost important point of the difference between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes is that there is no membrane bound nucleus in the prokaryotes, whereas eukaryotes you can see there is a membrane bound nucleus. In prokaryotes, cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, and thickness of wall depends on whether the cell is a gram positive or a gram negative, which we will be dealing afterwards. And cell walls, if present in eukaryotes, if the cell wall is present, it is made up of cellulose or chitin in the fungi. In prokaryotic cells, no membrane bound organelles are present as such in the nucleus. So in eukaryotes, they have membrane bound organelles, and compartmentalization is present, that each and every organelle has its place defined. And in prokaryotes, it has the pili and fimbriae for addition and flagella for propulsion, whereas in eukaryotes also they are having cilia or flagella, but it is mainly used for the movement. In prokaryotes, there is a mucilaginous capsules, and in eukaryotes, no such mucilaginous capsules are present. Numerous internal structures are present, including microtubules, for example, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, secretory vesicles, etc. Cell size, most important is the cell size of the prokaryotes. It is from 0.5 micrometer to 100 micrometer, whereas in the eukaryote, the cell size ranges from the 10 to 150 micrometer. Next, what about the microorganisms, forms of microorganisms we are studying? The study of bacteria is known as bacteriology, whereas the study of protozoa is known as protozoology. Algae, it is known as phycology. Parasites, it is known as parasitology. Yeast and molds, that is the fungi, it is known as mycology, and the study of viruses is known as the virology. Now, each and every microorganisms I will be dealing in detail. So, the bacteria, what are the bacteria? They are the prokaryotes, and the shapes, they differ, such as spheres, rods, and spirals. The size ranges in the width from 0.5 to 5 micrometer. Bacteria, they often appear in pairs, chains, or tetrads. A group of 4 or more is known as clusters. Some bacteria have flagella, external whip-like structures that propel the organisms through the liquid media. Some have capsule, an external coating of the cell. Some produce spores, reproductive bodies that function such as seeds. Depending upon the chemical and structural composition of the cell wall, some bacteria are gram-positive, taking on the stains purple color, whereas others are gram-negative, which does not take the stain. That is the gram staining, which will be dealing in our unit 2. Bacteria are mainly known for there is a lot of uses and harmful effects of bacteria, which we will be dealing later on in this unit only. Second group is the archaea. They look like bacteria, and the important difference between the bacteria and the archaea is their chemical composition, their biochemical activities, and the environment in which they are being formed. The cell walls of true bacteria contain peptidoglycan, whereas the archaea lack this substance. Many archaeans are noted for ability to survive under the harsh conditions, such as high levels of salts or acids or high temperatures. These microbes, that is the archaea, they are called as exthermophiles because they live in the extreme conditions in such places such as which is very salty, thermal pools where the temperature is very high, or the deep sea vents where there is no oxygen. Methane producing archaea live only in environments with no oxygen such as swamp mud or the intestines of the ruminants such as cattle and sheep. Collectively, this group of microorganisms exhibits tremendous diversity in the chemical changes that it brings to its environment. And the study of archaebacteria are very important because we are able to know about the microorganisms which can live in such extreme conditions and can be utilized in the genetic engineering. Next is the algae. Now, from the algae, the microorganisms of prokaryotic microorganisms have shifted to the eukaryotic microorganisms, and from this algae, protozoa and fungi, they collectively are known as the protists, as they belong to the kingdom Protista. Some organisms are unicellular and some are multicellular, but algae are eukaryotic and they are unicellular as well as multicellular. Algae, they are like plants. They contain the green pigment chlorophyll and carry out photosynthesis, and they have a thick and rigid cell walls. They normally occur in moist soil and aquatic environments. These eukaryotes may be unicellular or maybe multicellular and are microscopic and into the size or macroscopic into the size, such as 120 meters, nearly 400 feet in the length, which are present in the sea. Algae exhibit a variety of shapes such as the spherical, rod-shaped, club-shaped or spindle-shaped. Some are motile. Algae that are multicellular appear in variety of forms and degrees of complexity. Some are organized as filaments of cells attached end to end, like Spirogyra. In some species, these filaments intertwine into macroscopic plant-like bodies. Algae occurs in colonies, some of which are simple aggregations of single cells, while others contain different cell types and special functions. Blue-green algae is one of the example, which is used for the fixation of nitrogen in the wet areas. Algae are very useful because they consist the photosynthesis, maximum photosynthesis of the world, and they are responsible for the fixation of nitrogen and carbon dioxide. These are the various type of algae: the Spirogyra, the Stygosylum, the Pleoderma, the Codium, the Macrocystis, the Palmaria, the Acromonas, and various types of other algae are present. Next is the fungi. Fungi, they are also eukaryotic. They have rigid cell walls made up of chitins. They may be unicellular or multicellular. They are microscopic in size as well as very large. Fungi are also known such as mushrooms and bracket fungi that grow in soil or on damp logs. Fungi do not contain any chlorophyll and they cannot carry out photosynthesis. They do not ingest the food. They absorb the dissolved nutrients from the environment. So they are having some of the other types of enzymes which help in the dissolution of the nutrients. Fungi as microorganisms are multicellular and produce filamentous microscopic structures and are frequently called as molds. And some are known as yeasts, which are unicellular fungi, and they are used in the baking purposes. Molds are cylindrical in shape and are attached end to end to form thread-like filaments, and they bear the spores, Penicillium, Aspergillus, etc. Yeasts are unicellular, have many forms from spherical to egg-shaped to filamentous. Yeasts have the ability to ferment and ferment carbohydrates, which produces the alcohol and carbon dioxide in products such as wine and bread. all these microorganisms which I am telling you, you should know what their structure and function is, because they are very helpful in the scope of microbiology. As per the organisms we are dealing, it will lead to some or the other kind of scope in the microbiology. Next organism is the protozoa. Protozoa are single cell eukaryotic microorganisms. They are oval, spherical, or elongated. Cell size differ from 1 micrometer in diameter to as long as 2000 micrometer. Some are visible without magnification also. Like animal cells, protozoa lack cell walls and are able to move at some stage of their life cycle and ingest particles of foods. Many diseases are being caused by this protozoa, so we are studying this protozoa for the treatment of these diseases. Some phytoflagellate protozoa are plant-like, obtaining their energy via photosynthesis. Protozoan cells contain the typical internal structure of an animal cell. Some can swim through water by beating action of short hair-like appendages, cilia, or the flagella. These are various type of protozoa: Tetrahymna, Vorticella, Sporozoa plasmodium, which causes vivax, Plasmodium vivax, which causes malaria. Trypanosoma brucei, it also causes Kala-Azar fever. Amoeba, it causes dysentery. Tinosiophora is also known to be present in various types of water also. Now, the most and the last microorganism group is the virus. Viruses are considered on the borderline of living and non-living microorganisms. They have numerous shapes and widely distributed in nature. They infect animals, they infect plants, they infect human beings, as well as they infect the microorganisms also. Bacteriophage is a virus which infects the bacteria, and it is a useful. Some viruses are useful also. Viruses are obligate parasites, that is, they lack the metabolic function machinery of their own, and they need the cells to generate their own energy and synthesize proteins. They depend on the host cell to carry their metabolism. Viruses are made up of central core of nucleic acid. It may be DNA, it may be RNA, it may be single-stranded DNA or double-stranded DNA, it may be single-stranded RNA or double-stranded RNA. The nucleic acid is surrounded by a protein coat called a capsid, and it is a very tough coat. The capsid protects the genes outside the host cell. The structurally mature infectious particle is called as a virion. The references which I have taken for this is R.C. Dubey and D.K. Maheshwari, Microbiology by P.D. Sharma. Thank you very much for listening me carefully. If you have any doubts, you can call me at my phone number 997747166, or you can mail me at shamaibig@gmail.com. Thank you.